Why is Rahul Gandhi leading a Congress revival meet on the home turf of Prime Minister Modi and Amit Shah, and also in the land of Sardar Patel and Mahatma Gandhi on the 150th birth anniversary of Patel? What is the political messaging here in taking the AICC meeting to a state where the Congress has been languishing in Assembly, Lok Sabha, and local body elections? I'm Barkha Dutt, you're with the Mojo Story. On the program today, we'll be looking at the messaging from the Congress's big meet in Ahmedabad, where the CWC meeting has taken place at the Sardar Patel Memorial. And the AICC meeting, the big Congress meeting, is set to take place on the banks of the Sabarmati River. Gujarat, of course, is the home turf of Prime Minister Modi and Home Minister Amit Shah. But in the CWC statement issued moments ago, the Congress has preferred to describe Gujarat as the land of Sardar Patel and Mahatma Gandhi. They've also called out what they claim are a web of lies to create what the Congress argues is an artificial conflict between Jawaharlal Nehru and Sardar Patel. Now, the important point is this. Rahul Gandhi, who took time off from his Padyatra in election-bound Bihar, has long made his battle with the BJP an ideological one. That ideological positioning was evident in the CWC statement, where the Congress reinforced the fact that it was Sardar Patel who banned the RSS. Remember, this meeting is coming just days after Prime Minister Modi went and met with the RSS's leadership in Nagpur, the headquarters of the RSS. Today, the Congress chose to emphasize Sardar Patel's decision to ban the RSS. But does this ideological messaging, the nuances of history, matter in the hurly-burly of electoral politics in 2025? In a state where the Congress was wiped out in the most recent local body elections, and where in 250 seats where the BJP won, it wasn't the Congress that was at number 2 position, but the Aam Aadmi Party. To decode the messaging that the Congress is attempting to send and whether it will make any difference at all, let me introduce our guests on the program today. Rajat Sethi is with us, political analyst. Always a pleasure to have you with us, Rajat. Sugata Srinivas Raju, author and veteran journalist, is with us. Sugata, welcome back. Dr. Manisha Priyam, one of India's foremost academics and political analysts, is with us. Dr. Priyam, always a pleasure. And Tehseen Poonawala, Congress supporter, sometimes with caveats, joining us there just in the nick of time. Welcome, everybody. Tehseen, yes, you should be holding your Khan and doing Uthak Baithak. Let's start with you. You support the Congress, but you think they get several things wrong. The Congress is trying to send out ideological messaging in the resolution passed by the CWC moments ago, talking about this being the 150th birth anniversary of Sardar Patel, Gujarat being the land of Mahatma Gandhi and Sardar Patel, not the land of Modi and Shah for the Congress, and emphasizing Patel's ban on the RSS. But this is a state where, as I was just mentioning, in 2022 in the assembly elections, the Congress, was decimated. The BJP took a historic number of seats. The local elections in 250 seats, it was the Aam Aadmi Party that was at number 2 position in seats won by the BJP. Does all of this matter? Why Gujarat? What do you make of it?
Thank you, Barkha, for having me on the show. No, I wasn't doing Uttak Baitak. I was actually reading the CWC resolution that they just passed. So I wanted to be well prepared on your show. So I was reading that on Chat GPT. So the two issues out here simultaneously, now that you've put that out here, there are two issues out here. First, to your question, should the Congress have done this in Gujarat, the state of Gujarat? I think that's a good move for the Congress to do. Simply because why should the Congress give up a fight in any state that it has a presence? In the worst situation, if you leave last elections, which was an aberration because of the Aam Aadmi Party, the Congress has always got about 40-odd% vote in the state of Gujarat. So why should it give it away? In fact, the Congress's birth, as I've always said, has happened in my city of Pune and Bombay, then Pune and Bombay, but it was a part of the united Maharashtra, Gujarat, the state. So that's where the Congress has historically been born, and it's got a lot of its top leadership from that particular area. That is the first part to it, so they shouldn't give it up. Also, good idea to put the ideology out. You must know what you stand for. That is fine. But then beyond this symbolism, beyond this ideology, look, those who are voting for the Congress, people like me who are anti-RSS, who will never vote for the BJP, we already know that. There are a lot of So we are not the target voters. There are the fence sitters who the Congress has to get on board to win the election. Now, to get the fence sitters, first thing, stop getting after people who have voted the BJP and saying, oh, because you're communal. So what is that? Number two, I was reading this resolution, and I haven't really got it. It doesn't go into the details of the current issues that our nation is facing. So
No, I was just
yes,
going to. I'm glad you brought that up because I read the resolution carefully. And while
yes,
Gaurav Gogoi did give a statement, and we'll play it out in a
yes,
moment, talking about current issues, the CWC resolution is only talking about history.
yes. That's my problem with the Congress, and that's the caveat that comes in. And that's when I take, like, I feel like taking the hand that literally is the Congress symbol and putting it on my forehead. Look, people who have to vote for the Congress, why are they going to vote? There is a tariff, there's a World War III going on, which is the tariff war. What is our plan? What is our plan in Bangladesh? What's our plan in Syria? What is our plan in with regards to tax terrorism, with regards to the GST extortion, with regards to the ease of business, which is terrible in this country, and people are moving out? None of the solutions that the fence sitters want, that those who may have voted Prime Minister Modi in hope in 2014, 1924, and today are fed up, especially with the finance ministry, that those concerns are being addressed. None of those concerns that are about freedoms of the younger people to stand up for. So the Congress once again missed the opportunity, or let me put it this way: the Congress never misses an opportunity to miss an opportunity to put the BJP on a mat. The Congress should have used this opportunity in Gujarat, knowing it would get significant media attention, to set the agenda right. And if they would have again taken my advice, it's the economy, stupid. The economy of India is terrible. 19 lakh crores is being wiped out. And the main opposition party of the Congress hasn't mentioned that in its press release. Can you believe how out of touch
So,
that is?
so I think that's a really important point. But just to be fair, in the statements given to the press outside of this resolution, some of these issues have been touched upon. I'm just going to play out Gaurav Gogoi's statement
Yeah.
briefly and come right back. Let's take a look.
देशभक्ति की भूमि है, पवित्र सोमनाथ मंदिर की ये भूमि है। इस गुजरात के लोगों में उद्योग के प्रति जो उनकी जो शक्ति है, उनकी जो ज्ञान है, उसके प्रति हम नमन करते हुए बहुत से अहम मुद्दों पर हम वर्तमान में चर्चा कर रहे हैं। अमेरिका ने जो हमारे भारत के एक्सपोर्ट पर जो टैरिफ्स लगाए हैं, वो पूरे देश के साथ साथ गुजरात के भी बहुत से महत्वपूर्ण उद्योग पर एक नकारात्मक प्रभाव फैलाएगा। ये सरकार पिछले रात को हमारे गरीब और मध्यम वर्ग पर गैस सिलेंडर का दाम 50 रुपए बढ़ाकर उन्होंने और हमारा जीना और मुश्किल कर दिया। बांग्लादेश के सरकार के इंटरिम केयरटेकर मोहम्मद यूनुस साहब के साथ मिलने के बाद भी आज भी बांग्लादेश में अल्पसंख्यकों की जो उनको एक सुरक्षा मिलनी चाहिए, वो ना मिलने के कारण हम बहुत चिंतित हैं।
Right. So, Tehseen, very quickly before I go to Rajat. So, these issues, contemporary issues that you spoke about, are being flagged by Gaurav Gogoi, but they're not in the resolution passed by the CWC. That's historic. Gogoi is talking about the here and now, and some of it could also be in response to questions from the media. Quickly, your response on history versus contemporary issues.
Yeah, but see, Gaurav, first of all, compliments to him. His Hindi is really improved. He's worked very hard on himself. Now, 2 good speeches in Parliament and Manipur, and the other day, the speech in Parliament, but on Wakaf. But the fact is, he's a Gaurav Gogoi. It isn't the CWC resolution. I don't mean this disrespect in a disrespectful manner. The CWC resolution carries its own weight. It's what you're going to Google. It's what you're going to chat GPT. I chat GPT or I Google the CWC resolution. Nobody Googles what Gaurav Gogoi said. There's a difference between the two, even in the internet age. And I'm not saying this in any disrespectful manner. He's a very dear friend of mine. It would be me in the same image. It wasn't. It's what's written down. And that is what is important. Or then Rahul Gandhi ji comes and says it. It can't be an MP saying it. That doesn't work.
So for you, this is a missed opportunity. Let me bring in Rajat Sethi. Rajat, the ideological positioning in the statement, the emphasis on Sardar Patel, the emphasis on Sardar Patel having banned the RSS, that is obviously the core sort of perhaps ideological positioning and the thought behind taking this Congress meet to Gujarat, to kind of reclaim Patel, to reclaim a certain ideology that today Patel is seen to be the BJP mascot and Nehru is seen to be the Congress mascot, and the Congress is trying to call that out. My question, frankly, would be, does anybody care?
Well, Barkha, a lot of water has flown through the Narmada. There's nothing left now. See, if you are so committed to Sardar Patel's cause, why don't you go out and visit the tallest statue of Sardar Patel? Not even that, you forget doing that. You pass a stricture saying that anybody seen going there would be punished or would face disciplinary action. I mean, come on. See, the intent is flawed. You are genuinely not inclined towards opening up these old chapters of history, because too many skeletons in the closet will fall and your own story would be butchered and completely your entire
but the BJP, but that said, the BJP is also obsessed with history. Like, personally, I don't care about any of these historical issues, but the BJP is also obsessed with history.
See, as long as BJP is able to successfully play an underdog in that story writing, it's good for them. Where is Congress an underdog in that whole thing? You tell me. They've been in power forever and ever, and you want to bring out a leaf from history book trying to claim that you've been the victim? See, my professor at IIT Kharagpur used to teach me a concept in computer science which is called garbage in, garbage out. You cannot expect the system to behave differently when your input is still the same. Here, it is the same set of leadership for the past decade and more than a decade now. The followers have changed, the leaders haven't changed in the Congress party. And now, if you want to come up with new resolutions, more innovative ideas, how will that happen when the
this emphasis on Sardar Patel, this emphasis, Rajat, on Sardar Patel banning the RSS, that is obviously the headline sentence in the Congress for the Congress. How do you respond to that?
Again, I mean, see, where is the genuinity in this whole thing? Where is a genuine attempt to sort of claim the legacy of Sardar Patel? You tell me, are there any action items? I mean, writing anything on a piece of paper means nothing, means zilch. Today's day and age, the young voters want a much more, a deeper and a genuine sense of commitment to a core cause. I don't see that anywhere. And of course, I mean, it doesn't even relate to the common man's issues and the problems they might have with the government. So it's like, it's just one agenda that they thought, okay, we'll give a spin to it for some, low-hanging political fruits. I can tell you, no fruits can be plucked through these casual strategies, lazy strategy making by the Congress party. You go there, you still, did you attempt, if your entire aim is, say, only and only Gujarat, did you go into, Gaurav Gogoi was talking about Somnath Mandir. Could you not make an attempt to go to Somnath Mandir? Try and claim the cultural roots of that place before you claim the votes of that place.
Let's bring in Dr. Manish.
All over the place. I have nothing to say. Neither am I expert. I don't even know the difference between AICC and CLOC. What do they do? Why are there so many organizations? I am a novice at that. But we only tell you from a recipient, from an aware citizen perspective.
Right. We'll get Tehseen to come in on the multiple Congress structures later. But Dr. Manisha Priyam, here's the kind of operative question. Rahul Gandhi has long made his battle with the BJP ideological. But I think Tehseen and Rajat in different ways have made the same point. The BJP can be obsessed with history because it converts into some electoral benefit, or that's what they calculate for them. The Congress being obsessed with history doesn't seem to translate into any electoral benefit for them. Even if you want to fight an ideological battle, to change anything, you have to win elections. If we look at the Gujarat data, and I'm hoping that our slides looking at the Assembly and Lok Sabha elections will come up soon, but I'll just give you two data points here. If you look at 2022, the BJP took 156 seats out of 182, the Congress just 17. If you look at the local body polls, BJP swept them, and as I've already said, in 250 seats, AAP was the number 2 party, not the Congress. The Congress can do a kind of symbolic messaging by taking this meeting to the Prime Minister's home turf. But the numbers for the Congress in Gujarat have been pretty disastrous.
Yeah, I mean, all of these things are right. Yes, the numbers have been disastrous. Yes, the Congress should have raised economic issues. So what Tehseen ji said is all very correct. But which of these precludes the Congress party meeting and gathering in the name of Sardar Patel? And let me tell you that in India today, for many reasons, because the BJP brought it up saying there was a tiff between Nehru and Sardar Patel, which is why the Congress is Nehru and Sardar Patel has been left on the margins. The Congress is fighting back on that part of history and getting back with what are the facts. And you cannot deny the Congress this opportunity. And let me tell you, as far as the ground is concerned, even today, I have a request from someone who is a hostel warden in a very important university in North India. That hostel is named after Sardar Patel, asking for an extension. That gentleman has completed 2 terms and he's established the Murti of Sardar Patel in North India. And he says, September mein jab tak Jayanti mein nahi mana leta hu, tab tak mujhe yahan rehne diya jaye. Now this is an important town, I cannot name it, in North India. Very important town for the BJP, if not for the Congress. I go back to the street side politics in Patna, which is very important again in North India. And I find in the gully right across Patna University, there is a struggle between the JDU and the BJP. They are partners in power 2 kilometers away where the Raj Bhavan is. The struggle is over something called the Patel Chhatravas. Now it is left for you to imagine. Now I will take you also to Jharkhand, which has not made national headlines, but there's been a violent episode outside of Bokaro Steel City where those who were Vistapit, unemployed, I've never heard this term, unemployed Vistapit people who had been given skill training and have reached the age of 40, 45 and don't have jobs. Some of them have died. Now, who are the leaders there? The leaders there now are some important Mahato leaders who are Patel leaders. So to just wash away this, if this wasn't important, why in the first instance would BJP be playing the Sardar Patel card at all? This was an important, there were many times when I used to hear that, XYZ, the ruler of an important, principality or princely state in India was actually not a Rajput, but was a Patel, and that he will be made the, leader of the BJP. And the BJP will portray itself more as a Patel party. Now, these were things that I used to hear before the Madhya Pradesh elections. So there is in Sardar Patel an imagery. Remember also, this is the year for the 100th anniversary of the RSS. Correct. What do you think are the cards that the Congress has at its hands today? Can the Congress do only inflation, unemployment, and cut down? Remember, the RSS, what it has done very well is cultural politics. And what we are asking the BJP, what it has done very well is the cultural politics. And you're asking the Congress to say that you only do street politics and you only compete with Aam Aadmi Party and you cede the rest of the history and the principalities.
Fair question.
We will take the cultural legacy of this country forward. So it is not a Venn diagram. It is all of this.
I think that's a very, very interesting question that the RSS has, Tehseen would not say to the RSS, why aren't you talking about inflation? He may not even say that to the BJP when the BJP is able to make, for example, Aurangzeb an issue. So I think what Dr. Priyam Sugata is saying is, sorry, Tehseen, you had a sentence before I come to Sugata?
After you finish.
No, you can have a brief little... Okay.
No, I agree with what the good doctor said, but there are 2 fundamental differences. Number one, Aurangzeb works for the BJP. It is distraction away from the economy. If the Congress falls into the trap of trying to correct history, it loses the present. That's point number one. Remember, the Congress has to set the agenda. Number two, I'm not saying it shouldn't set the agenda. I started my opening remarks. Great it's doing in Gujarat. Great that they are exposing the RSS. Fabulous. What beyond that? That is good. But beyond that, it's the economy stupid. And the economy is terrible. People are leaving the country. 19 lakh crores have been wiped out. Every single democratically elected leader has addressed their country except one leader, the Honorable Prime Minister. Shouldn't that be your attack today? Period.
Okay, the silence of the Prime Minister on Trump's tariffs and the impact that it may have, the 19 lakh crores that were wiped out, if I'm not wrong, in 10 seconds of the stock market. That is Tehseen's reference. I will be very interested in getting Rajat's take on that, but I have to come to Sugata first on Manisha Priyam's point, which I think is a very interesting point. I take Rajat and Tehseen's argument that when the Congress does history, it doesn't convert into electoral advantage. but they do need a narrative. What is their narrative? What is their story? Everybody needs a story. We live in an age where politics is fueled by storytelling, right? Trump's story is, I'm going to make America great again. I don't care about my critics. That's my goal. What is the Congress says cultural answer to the RSS's 100 years? And does it need one?
Thank you, Barkha. I wish I knew what the Congress's story was, because I've been trying to grapple with a lot of things that they have been trying to say in the last 10 years since Modi,
Yeah.
but I don't see a single narrative emerging. There have been times when you thought that they're going to fix themselves around something, but then they would have moved from that into something else. So it is, Congress's is it runs parallel to the political education of Rahul Gandhi. If Rahul Gandhi is interested in Savarkar today, I think then the narrative is around Savarkar. If Rahul Gandhi decides that he has to sort of hit out at the RSS, then I think the narrative is around the RSS. If he wants to hit out at this whole thing, the false narrative that is being built between Nehru and Patel, then I think that becomes the story. So they're very, very inconsistent, and I think Tehseen or Manisha ji, they are very, very right. It sort of does not lend weight to any political action at any given point of time. So it's very textual. In fact, when I saw the new Congress office, there were videos of the new Congress office were being released, and to what you were showing us, the CWC meet today with a lot of photographs there and a lot of memory being provoked, a lot of history being cited. See, I feel that the new Congress office looks like a museum. They're very much in the past. And I know they have newly become aware of the weight of history. See, they're completely forgotten what it was all about, and they've suddenly and rudely been woken up to the whole aspect, to the whole thing about history, and that history can be a checkmate in politics. So that is where the Congress is at this point of time. And see, the other thing is also, Barkha, this whole narrative between Nehru and Patel is not the creation of the BJP. That may have happened in the recent years. But if you look at the very early years of post-independent India, and if you look at, I will draw your attention to one of the tallest leaders, Muslim leaders of the Congress party, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Has anybody read or reread his memoirs, his autobiography, India Wins Freedom? Look at the kind of narrative he builds against Sardar Patel in that. And has anybody cared to look at what Maniben Patel has herself said? So the narrative was not built by all these trolls of the BJP on social media in recent years. They only exploited what was there, and they made it very cringe, and absolutely, polarized a very wrong end.
I think
that is.
Yeah, sorry, I'm interrupting, but the very important point you made is that the ideological pivoting of the Congress tends to coincide with Rahul Gandhi's own predilections or interests at that time. But I want to bring in Rajat on whether a fundamental question, political question raised by both Tehseen actually, it's the economy is stupid, right? Rajat, is it only the economy? How can you compete with a party that is very ideological? The BJP is an ideological party. Can you so there are two ways that parties have competed with the BJP. Either the Kejriwal way, where you duck the ideology. You become kind of a mini version of Modi as you imagine it. You duck the ideology, you focus only on roti, kapda, makan. Or the Congress way, we are ideologically different. It's a very interesting question. Can you fight an ideological party without being ideological yourself?
See, more than BJP being ideological, BJP is ideologically consistent. And consistent is the more operative word. They are crystal clear about it. When you're making a startup pitch to a venture capitalist, now this is a season of talking about startups, let me tell you that.
Should I ask you what you thought of that Piyush Goyal speech?
No, you can. But I don't want to derail your fantastic question. See, when you're making a VC pitch, what is essentially an elevator pitch? And what Congress needs to do is to reincarnate itself into that elevator pitch mode. They need to have that one line. What are you? What do you stand for? Why should I vote for you? That one line is missing. BJP has it crystal clear, and its constituents, voters, or its cheerleaders, all of them are pretty clear what BJP stands for. Now the problem is that Congress, wants to be that old princely class Congress also, because they want to carry that air. They want to, also try and bring in Kanhaiya and try and be too rustic also about it, and minus conviction in any of these strategies. You want to talk economy, but then you bring up issues which do not make any coherent sense also. You brought in drones. You wanted to say that, hey, I want to focus our country's youth on drones, but you bring in a Chinese drone. See, conviction doesn't come so easily. Conviction only comes when you have worked decades and decades. You put in that hard work on the ground. The problem is that it cannot be a seasonal hard work. The Congress party structurally and its leaders structurally have put in seasonal hard work with no narrative, no one-line pitch to any.
I think your point about the absence of an elevator pitch is a very important one. And by the way, it's the same in journalism. I always tell every young reporter, if you can't pitch your story in 10 seconds, you don't have a story. You need to know what's your story. Exactly. And I 100% agree. But I have one question before I go to Tehseen and then to Dr. Priyam and Sugata. You said earlier on this program, I asked you in some other context, what is the biggest challenge that you think the Modi government might face? That was before, I think, Trump had officially announced his tariffs. They're here. Tehseen just criticized the Prime Minister, saying all the heads of state have spoken. We have their, videos. We seem to be responding in a different way, working behind the scenes. There's an attempt at a bilateral trade deal, all of that. Do you think that the Modi government, notwithstanding its ideological clarity that can be summed up in a 10-second elevator pitch, is facing uncertain times if it doesn't pay attention to what's coming next? That its challenge is not going to be ideological. It is, in fact, going to be economic.
See, 100%, it's an absolutely uncertain environment. It is as uncertain as it can possibly get. But this is not just an India problem. The good thing about BJP is that bench strength. You can have a Prime Minister Modi worry about those global issues and worry about tariff issues, etc. But then you have 10 other leaders who can focus on other aspects as well. And it will still work a perfectly fine machine with all its objectives of stability domestically as well as stability externally, all of those issues managed. You have those many hands and those many brains working on it simultaneously. The problem with the Congress party is that it doesn't have that corresponding bench strength in any of its leadership. Most of the people that you will see in the CWC are largely those very, very veterans of 40, 50-year-old people still holding on to the charge and giving the direction. That's where the mismatch is. But I agree with you. I think, forget about Trump. Trump challenge might be a 3-month challenge, 6-month challenge. It could be longer. Nobody. It's just a guess game for everybody. But look at Xi Jinping. The way he responded, he's in a much more difficult position right now than us. You could have given a knee-jerk reaction. So I'm not going to judge Prime Minister Modi on that. He has a separate bonhomie. He will take a week's time and perhaps do more back-channel negotiations than more upfront and strategy that what Xi Jinping took. And DMK here wants to come in and want to force Modi to go the route of Xi. What is the point in doing that? Let people who've been given the responsibility do that. Fortunately or unfortunately, Congress has no responsibility. So right now, they can actually genuinely think about their own health, the health of their own organization, and come out with that story or that one-line pitch.
So let's come to Tehseen on a number of points that have been made. Tehseen, it's the economy, stupid, yes. The economic challenge to the government is a fact. These are uncertain times, but there is that larger question, what's your elevator pitch? I think Sugata asked that in a different way, that, it keeps changing with Rahul Gandhi's interest in the time. Rahul Gandhi's pet issues define the ideological position of the Congress, taking away from the capacity to make that elevator pitch. Go ahead.
So I'll come to that elevator and that one-line answer towards the end. Let me answer 3 or 4 things. But to begin with, Rajat, for you, the Congress's highest body is the CWC. It has about 25 members. Manisha will correct me if it's wrong or no. Some elected, most nominated. The BJP's is the BJP Parliamentary Board, which is 11 members. So that's the 2 highest bodies of the 2 political parties. But coming to the larger issue, look, at no point am I suggesting that the Congress take on Prime Minister Modi on the Trump tariff. But there's a political way of doing it. If I was leader of the opposition, I would not only give my solution, I would offer to work with the Prime Minister during these tough times and say, look, we are cooperating with the Prime Minister, thus forcing the Prime Minister to react. You can do that. Remember the global crisis that today Prime Minister Modi faced, 2008 Prime Minister Dr. Manmohan Singh also faced with the collapse of the Lehman Brothers, and President Obama said that Prime Minister Manmohan Singh led the world out of the global recession. So maybe Congress can also put in a hand out there and try and help the Prime Minister. You then take away the nationalistic tag from the BJP, you also force the Prime Minister to react. Everything doesn't have to be brazen. You can work together. Ultimately, it's a nation, right, that has to progress together. That's the first point. Now to the second point about Savarkar and etc. The Congress keeps going back to these issues. I'll tell you what happens with this. Today, I've come to Pune. I've just landed in Pune, and Rahul ji now wants to bring Savarkar on record in the courts. That's all right. I want to contest Pune. So you see, now this is a seat the Congress has always won, except for the last 3 times. Why are we doing this? So I don't understand this kind of politics. Is that so important right now to set the agenda? Ultimately, Indira ji had given Savarkar, should a stamp on his name. Are we going to get into this, play on the BJP's pitch, or then play on our pitch? Now to the third point. So what is the Congress's ideology? Well, anyone who's left the BJP also joins the Congress and gets elevated. Some of the people who have joined the Congress today or in top positions have come from the BJP. So if you're so against the BJP, why are those people in the Congress? And this is not the first time today I'm telling you, Barkha. You've known me for years now. I've been making this point consistently, and these people have destroyed the Congress organization. So why do you get it? Whether the right or the left? One college kid's name, Rajat took. Today, he's considered the second most popular leader after Rahul Gandhi. Imagine how Sachin Pilot must be feeling. So, just imagine what's happening. So these are
Kanhaiya is considered the most popular leader after Rahul Gandhi by whom?
Jairam Ramesh said that. Which brings me to the fourth point. That the name that again that was said. Some of those people. Why are some people Rajya Sabha members? I'm being very honest and brutal here. They can't win a class election. They, no, I'm not making this, but some people like to roam with their cars, which has those words, Zilla Adhyaksh, Ye Adhyaksh. वो उनके कार पे class monitor अध्यक्ष नहीं होगा. They are Rajya Sabha members. So ultimately, where are the grounded people who can actually take the Congress forward and help the Congress win?
Okay.
The core political thinkers. So the one line for the Congress that the Congress has to win, honestly, right now, is not anti-Modism, is pro-Indianism, and that has to be, how can they be different from the BJP and what are they giving the future generation? Forget the past for now. When you come back in power, rewrite, do what you want to do. Right now, tell the voters what are you going to make your life, how are you going to make your life different. If the BJP goes after Ranveer Alabadia, and I know you're not a fan of this, the Congress is also going after Ranveer Alabadia. How do you distinguish between the two? Give the people something to distinguish. If you're going to be the B team of the BJP does, why are people going to elect you? You're the B team of everything everybody does.
But it's complicated, Dr. Priyam, because if you don't contest them ideologically, then you might risk the chance of being called the B team of the BJP. If you contest them ideologically, then Tehseen will say, "Isme kya interest kisko hai?" It's not translating into any electoral dividend. It's a very existential challenge for the Congress party. Once the big tent, described by Rajni Kothari to be the Congress system, a system that could accommodate multitudes of ideologies, today is seeking some sort of Rahul Gandhi-led ideological purity, which actually doesn't exist because the Congress itself is in alliance with the Shiv Sena, or a faction of the Shiv Sena. There is no ideological purity in Indian politics. Shyama Prasad Mukherjee was part of India's first cabinet. There is no ideological purity at all in electoral politics.
Let's come back to the Congress that we've seen in the recent past, the UPAs, for example. Now, they were in alliance with political parties that rose out of anti-Congressism. I know, once again, that's not a term that seems to be very fancy, but I woke up to emergency one morning as a child, and I knew where the dividing lines were. And then, whatever happens and the 90s come, and that's the end of the Congress rule in Bihar, who does the Congress party align with? With the party that's finished you off. And thereafter, the only thing I've seen is that there is a rusting lock on Sadakat Ashram. The party that doesn't let you rise up in the state is the party that you ally on. So you can do all your padyatras, but ultimately when the time comes for ticket distribution, somebody will switch off their cell phones, somebody will stop picking up the calls, and the only person who has distributed the RJD and the Congress tickets in Bihar is Honorable Lalu Prasad Yadav himself. So where is the Congress party? What is Rahul Gandhi going to do in Bihar, which is significantly different? I know there are green shoots somewhere there in the grass, and those green shoots are that the NSUI has won elections in the Patna University, and Kanhaiya has been behind some of those victories. So I can see those. But beyond that, what? I had seen Rahul Gandhi also on 18th January when he did the Samvidhan Yatra in Gandhi Maidan. Then it was not a Patel but a Gandhi Yatra. Well, right place. Now, Rahul Gandhi was shown with the photograph of Karpuri Thakur. Karpuri and Congress are like, Congress did everything to do what they could to Karpuri. Fine, you want to come there. But there should have been a series of steps that you would have taken. And why did Lalu Prasad Yadav, who was a chela of Karpuri Thakur, literally stands on the politics that Karpuri made for that state, thinking about its poor people? Two UPA governments could never think of forget a Bharat Ratna. Not even 2 pages of a biographical note came out in Karpuri. And even till date, when the Bharat Ratna was given, I got a call saying, "Can you speak 2 lines?" I said, "Yeah, today my day has come." He died in 1988. Today the day has come. So the point is, the Congress doesn't know the script locally. And this visual coming about Sardar Patel and this monument behind is a national image that I recognize, but it doesn't give me a local script. Remember, BJP's victories are coming not because I here differ somewhat with this pitch of the VC fund and the one line, etc. The BJP is written different strokes for different folks. The BJP has done what the Aam Aadmi Party did. The BJP is a Samajik Nyay party. The BJP is also a Hukum Dev Bajaichi is the joke in Bihar. The Gamcha wearing Hukum Dev Narayan Yadav party. It does that there. You also have, a local form of politics that's going on in Purvanchal. You may agree with it, you don't agree with it. There's a Malla party that's happening there. There's Jamuna Nishad, who didn't ever agree with Yogi Adityanath. But the politics of stitching up together of the local is so well grafted with the BJP that they were able to get even the enemies of Yogi into the kitty of BJP and win that election. So my point is, if you've been disaggregated and dismantled, how do you stitch the small fragments together?
I think it's an excellent question. I think it's an excellent question, and Rajat will respond that there is no one meta elevator pitch. I think he just meant be lucid, be consistent. But you make a very interesting point of localizing your battles. You don't have to be, you can be contradictory. You can be an OBC party somewhere. You can be a Hindutva party somewhere. Before I come to Shogata, I think Rajat has a brief interjection. And sorry, Shogata, just give me 30 seconds. Rajat, interjection?
Yeah. See, elevator pitch one-liner doesn't mean that you don't have a 50-slide deck after that. So you can have a one-line pitch and you can have detailed 50 slide decks also, where you can list out your strategies and everything. That's it.
Yeah. Okay. That is a good answer. I think that first you need the elevator pitch, then you need the 50-slide deck. So Gata, let's bring you in. If the Congress fails to make some key announcements which are change-oriented from this AICC meet, there's another day that we still have to observe, then either the Congress is in denial, or I don't even know what to think, because the political barometer has totally changed from June of 2024, and it's changed in 6 months, 8 months.
Barkha, this ideology question has been discussed quite a bit today.
Yeah.
See, this ideology sort of brings in a dogma with it. It's attached to it.
Yeah.
And you can pretty well be a-ideological in many ways. In sense, adopt a certain pragmatism, which is about being nimble-footed, when it comes to political issues. So that's one part of the thing. But you're right. If the Congress does not respond to the bigger challenges, I wouldn't. Economics is yes, tariff and all that's being spoken about is very, very important, and it may sort of decide the well-being of the masses, because a lot of things are going to be upset. But as somebody said on the panel, that it's a global problem as well. So people are bound to look at Modi in a more forgiving way if the tariff thing is going to come up his neck and squeeze his.
Which is what happened in COVID. which is what happened in
That's right.
COVID. The
That's
government
right.
has
Yeah.
forgiven a lot because the world
Yes.
was going through it. Yeah.
That's right. So, but now the Congress, there are bigger political atom bombs, waiting to tick in today's
Hmm.
India, which I don't think the Congress has addressed. Number one, what is Congress's position on delimitation? Are they going to go with T and Stalin on that? The moment they agree to something to what the Dravidian parties are asking, then they're going to be wiped out in the north. Number two, minorities is something that the Congress is being sort of tagged with. But what is the stand of Rahul Gandhi on the Waqf bill? Rahul Gandhi never spoke on the Waqf bill in Parliament. And
Yeah.
then the Dalits issue, the identity issues are so big. The tariff and other things will affect one section of the people. But what about Dalits? Look at what's happening in Karnataka, my state, where they're unable to decide whether they should be giving reservation to the left Dalits, who are the majority. So there's a huge conflict going on. Rahul Gandhi has
Yeah.
been speaking so much about caste census. That's the OBC problem. Has the Karnataka government, which is their government, been able to implement the caste census, which is ready? So these are the real political atoms. This somewhat ties up with what Manisha ji was speaking about, the real issues, the local issues, the issues that really matter in Indian politics. So being ideological is being academic in the present context. And she's right about the BJP as well, which is the BJP is not ideological the way way a person like Rahul Gandhi perceives it to be ideological. That is dogmatic. They are pragmatic, they are dogmatic on a lot of issues. That sets the cultural narrative. But when it comes to day-to-day politics, they know how to move. They know how to move their pawns. So I think that's extremely
Yeah.
important. And it's a reappropriation parva that the Congress is going through. They suddenly don't
Yeah.
know, and they're trying
Yeah.
to reappropriate. And they
Absolutely.
stand.
I think that's well said. I'm going to close, Tehseen. I'll give you the closing word. Many concrete suggestions have been made by people like you who support the Congress, whereas, start with the shadow cabinet. Automatically, if there was a shadow foreign affairs minister, today you'd be going to that minister and saying, okay, what about Trump's tariffs? Maybe the shadow foreign affairs minister would speak before the government, thereby pressurizing the government to speak. I mean, I don't know. I'm not in politics, but these seem commonsensical things to me. What is the one thing you'd be hoping comes out of this AICC meet beyond this resolution?
There's a Ghalib poet, दिल को हजारों ख्वाहिशें ऐसी हर ख्वाहिश पे दम निकले बहुत निकले मेरे अरमान लेकिन फिर भी कम निकले. So I'll keep wishing, but look, ultimately let me just go back. The Bharat Jodo Yatra was successful. It got Dalit fellow citizens and Muslim citizens firmly behind the Congress, period. That's why the Congress got 99. Forget all the other narrative. That's what happened. Since then, the Congress has lost the Dalit vote bank. It's absolutely lost it. Who's been responsible for that? Has one general secretary taken responsibility for it? Has the Congress president taken responsibility for it? You have fighting going on in state governments. You have Himachal that does not have an economic model, because economy is my point that I want to try and bring out. You have Telangana that's facing its own problems. What is the governance model against the so-called BJP governance model? You don't have that. Then on the minorities issue, the one vote bank that was firmly behind you, which also in sort of Delhi a little bit stood behind you in the assembly elections. As Mr. Sugata said, and I told you on the last show, Rahul Gandhi should have spoken on the Waqf bill. By not speaking on it, the Muslims today are feeling alienated. Yes, the BJP would have gone after him. So you fight for people who have voted for you. You've lost that, and you've tweeted it. People on Twitter didn't want the Waqf, so you've again alienated them. So who's making these strategies? It is astounding that these strategies, these are easy goals. On COVID, because you went back, the Congress should have been on the ground working. So it's easy to say, oh, it was global, so Prime Minister Modi got sympathy. No, Prime Minister Modi, of course, got sympathy, but it's also because the opposition didn't raise the right issues. If the opposition was on the ground, actually working, the situation would have been different. They should now, today, on an economic thing, give a plan. Let the BJP counter that plan. But that doesn't happen. I don't know why. And if the BJP and if the Congress is so against the RSS, why does anyone who leave the BJP come to the Congress and is given top post? Again, that is a question that needs to be asked.
I mean, both parties do that. Both parties do that, right? The BJP has also opened its arms.
No, the BJP's top leadership is always from the RSS. The BJP will never have a prime minister out of the RSS. The BJP's parliamentary board, by and large, will be RSS. The next president will be selected along with the RSS and Prime Minister Modi. The reason Prime Minister Modi went to the RSS and met Mohan Bhagwat is to shake hands and say, yes, it's all over. Naddaji's statement is behind us. The BJP doesn't go against the RSS. So there is a consistency.
We leave it there. I think tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. Sugata, you had a point? Sure. Sugata, yeah.
Sorry, Barkha. You were closing. See, besides the Rahul Gandhi problem that the Congress now has, it also has a Kharge crisis coming up. We shouldn't forget that. See, the last session, Kharge suo moto stood up and made a statement when the allegation was made about Waqf land and his appropriation. That is only the tip of the iceberg. I can tell you the kind of stuff that's going to come up because of the trusts of his family, the land. They've returned 5 acres of land in Karnataka. So there's a Kharge is also going to be a crisis point, and Kharge has not helped them with Dalits as much as one thought he would.
Yeah, I think that's an important point, but I will say in the end, and Tehseen and I always argue about this, yes, it's fair to talk about general secretaries, the Congress president, but in the end, I mean, neither Rahul Gandhi nor Priyanka Gandhi spoke or participated in the Waqf bill debate, and they are the face of the Congress party, not Mr. Kharge, not Jairam Ramesh, right? So somewhere we've got to, the buck stops with the boss. And I don't think anybody believes that Mr. Kharge is necessarily the boss in the real sense of the word. But we leave it there. Thank you, Dr. Manisha Priyam, Rajat Sethi, Tehseen Poonawala, Sugata Srinivas Raju. Always a pleasure to our audience. Thank you and see you soon. It's great to see you here. Thank you for watching our work. If you haven't subscribed yet, don't forget to click the bell icon and subscribe to Mojo Story and support independent, robust journalism.